Hi everyone, this is Grandmaster Ben Finegold with another video, my video series on great games. Well, since the Archbishops are playing tonight in the U.S. Chess League semifinals against the Miami Sharks, I thought I'd try to find one of my better U.S. Chess League games and show it to you, the nice public here. Probably my best U.S. Chess League game, since it won Game of the Week, was against the German Grandmaster Niclas Huschenbeth. This was actually his first season in the U.S. Chess League. I believe he's a student at UMBC on a chess scholarship, and he had just come to the U.S., and so we didn't really know him. Okay, I knew he was higher rated than me FIDE, but that was about it. And again, I was white, and this was played in September of 2012, just after my birthday, actually. Okay, so, well, it is sort of a coincidence, I guess, that I'm white in a Queen C2 Nimzo Indian. Either that or those are the only games that I win. It's one of them. Okay, and Huschenbeth castled, unlike the previous games in this variation where black played c5. Okay, now every grandmaster in the world here plays a3, and that was the most popular move by probably about 80-85%. And then e4 became pretty popular. Even I tried e4 a couple times with white here. But okay, I mean, now that a3 is played probably 60% of the time and e4 is played 30% of the time at the grandmaster level, I still don't play those moves. So I played knight f3, which is what I almost always play. And black usually can equalize against this if he knows the theory. I still have some good results because I have a lot of experience in the positions. Okay, so black plays c5, the normal move, and I take. And we could probably transpose into my Fidel game if he took back, but he played knight a6. And the point of knight a6 is black wants to gain control of the e4 square by usually playing knight takes c5 and knight e4 and putting pressure on the c3 knight. Okay, and there's two ways that I face this, although I chose a third here. So I played bishop to d2. Normally I play g3, and then after knight c5, I play bishop g2, and they play knight e4. And here, there's two ways to play. You can castle and accept this ruined pawn structure, and I've had this position many times. And the other way to play, which is a little bit safer, instead of castling, is to play bishop d2 and surrender the two bishops. And I've had this position many times as well. And if you look in databases, you'll probably see a lot of my games where I'm white. Okay, and instead of playing g3 and bishop g2, which I almost always do, I played bishop d2 this game. And this is actually a pretty tame line if black knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, Niclas played a sort of an aggressive line and didn't know it very well and got into trouble quickly, which happens sometimes. Okay, so he took a3. And in this position, it's very important that black immediately plays knight to e4. And normally, white takes, black takes with a knight since his knight's attacked. And this position's pretty boring, probably just equal. And I've had this position or similar one against Varakobian in the U.S. Championship. I believe it was 2013. And we had a very long draw. Okay, but Niclas played b6, which is a pretty common move, though I think it's only common because people don't know that white has a very aggressive move here. I think they expect white's going to play e3 or g3 and then just some normal position. But actually, the purpose of this opening is that you're sort of hoping black doesn't know it, since it's very rare, and black has this trouble on h7 after the move knight g5. Okay, so white has a very simple threat. White's going to take on f6, and then white's going to play queen h7 mate. So it's a simple threat, but it's hard to stop. And the ways to stop it are usually pretty crazy. My opponent didn't play one of the crazy ways. He played g6, which is a very normal way of stopping queen h7 mate. The problem is you really don't want to have this pawn structure when your opponent has a dark squared bishop and you don't. That's just not good. More interesting way to play is rook to e8, which prevents mate. And the idea is if white decides to do this anyway, now white has a lot of issues. The g5 knight is hanging, and queen takes b2 is also very strong. Probably white's already in trouble here. So this isn't the way for white to play. I faced rook e8 before, actually more than once. Okay, Niclas played g6, and I played b4, attacking the knight. And he can't play knight e4 because my knight's on g5. He doesn't really want to play knight a6 or knight to b7. That's incredibly passive. So he played h6. And if my knight moves away, he'll play knight to e4. Okay, so we traded knights. And I played queen to d3, which is quite a strong move. I'd like to play either queen to d4, lining up on this diagonal, or queen to f3, attacking the knight and attacking the rook on a8. Okay, so Niclas played bishop b7. This stops queen f3, develops a piece. Queen d4. You can't move your knight because queen g7 and queen h8 are mate, so king g7 is forced. And now h4. Okay, so every move I have sort of a threat. I'm going to take on g5 next move, winning. So he took on c5, attacking my queen. I took back. Again, I'm threatening to take on g5, winning. So he plays g4. And now I play rook to d1, because my rook is much better on d1 than a1, of course. And in some positions, if his queen wanders off or we trade queens, I can play something like rook takes d7 because his knight is pinned. And I have other ideas like rook d4 and rook f4. So the rook's obviously much better on d1 than on a1. Okay, so d5, that stops my rook takes d7 ideas I had. And I play queen d4, keeping this pin, making sure his queen can't ever run away. And he played rook h8, which makes sense because the h-file's open. He doesn't want me crashing through. And I played h5 anyway. Yeah, and he has a problem here. He played rook h6. If he plays, let's say, rook takes h5, for example, then I can take and play something like queen f4, threatening queen g5 check. Queen g5 check's very hard to stop. I think he has to play king g6. I don't see another move. And that's not really what you want to do. And then I'm assuming e3 is pretty strong with the simple idea of bishop d3 check. And you don't really want your king on g6. So you can see how he didn't like this. Okay, so after h5, he played rook h6. And I played queen e5. A couple of reasons I played queen e5. I want to pin this d pawn. And also I'd like to play queen g5 later. And basically just put tremendous pressure on this diagonal. This long-lasting pressure on the dark squares, there's just no defense to it. He can't ever trade off for my bishop on c3. Okay, rook c8 getting his last piece out. e3, my bishop on f1 now defends my c4 pawn. Queen e7, and rook h4. I'd like to play rook takes g4 at the proper moment, since his knight is pinned. Bishop c6. I did take on g4. And this is actually pretty funny. He can't play rook takes h5 because I just take it. And his g-pawn and his knight are pinned. Amazing. Okay, so he's down a pawn and he's still getting attacked. He played bishop to a4, attacking my rook. I played rook f4, ignoring the attack, threatening rook takes knight, winning immediately. Yeah, he really can't take my rook because I'll play rook takes f6, threatening everything, plus his bishop on d1. So he took on h5. Well, he can't take with the rook because I just simply win a piece. It's just hanging on f6. So he took with the pawn, and now his rook defends his knight. So that's pretty nice. Rook takes f6, and now he resigned. Queen takes f6 and rook takes f6 both lose. Queen takes f6 loses to queen g5 check, and queen g3 check also wins. And I take his queen with check if he plays rook g6. So he can't take my queen. And if he moves his king, I just play bishop takes queen. And if he plays rook takes f6, or the obvious move, then I play queen g5 check. He can't play rook g6 because I'll take his queen. Actually, can't play rook g6, it's illegal. So he loses his king and his queen. So yeah, so he has to move his king, and then, okay, this is white's up a piece and crushing black. So after rook takes f6, he resigned. So that was one of my nicer wins in the Queen C2 Nimzo. I hope you liked that game. I'm running out of time. It's almost 10 minutes. So we'll see you next time for the next video. Watch my videos on YouTube and go to my blog. Bye, everybody.